Hey, are you still out there by that mailbox waiting on your Doge check, you fake ass patriots? Don't stop it already. Look, hey, summertime's coming. You'll have a heat stroke out there, all right? They're not coming, y'all. You didn't get the news that the Doging is over. There ain't no more Doging anymore. That Leon Musk feller, he's going back to his private business life, after he'd done ruined his business career basically by Doging. He's going back, try to save it all. His executives there and stuff was bailing on him. His shareholders and stuff was starting to bail on him, and his Tesla stocks was crashing and stuff like that. So he's going to go back and try to pretend like he never did F over America. It ain't going to work. But the thing is while he was out there doging, he didn't really find any of that waste, fraud, and abuse that he said he was finding. He didn't find none. And the stuff that he did say he found was just his opinion on. He didn't think that money should have been spent on those things. It turns out that like 535 members of Congress already voted on spending that money. So it didn't matter what an illegal South African immigrant thought about it anyway, So he didn't find anything there. And look, I know it's disappointing because you want your government handouts and stuff, And I know on one hand you say you hate government handouts, but look at you out there by your mailbox right now with your hand out, Ain't nothing going to fall into it but a big old bird turd if you stand out there long enough, okay? So, like I said, get back inside you. I know the farmers have got their hand out that voted for him and stuff. They've got their hand out right now, wanting them some of that taxpayer dollars put in their hand, and I'm sure the truck drivers are going to want some of that too, some of them socialisms and stuff, but it ain't going to happen. And I can tell you how I know it ain't going to happen is because, well, there's devastating storms that went through Arkansas and stuff, all through Trump country. Y'all did some lots of damage. 40 something people lost their lives and stuff. Last I heard. Well, that governor of Arkansas, she is that Sarah Suckling-D's Handers. She the original OG, yeah, the original lying biatch for Donald F. and Trump there, his press secretary. She called him up and said, "Hey, Krasnoff, I need some money for my state that got devastated by some tornadoes." He said no, he wasn't giving her no money, So if she ain't getting no money for all those people in her state that voted for his dumb ass, we ain't getting no money either. No Doge checks or nothing. We ain't getting none of that. No tax on tips or no tax on Social Security or no tax on overtimes. And we dang sure ain't getting no Doge money, y'all, because there wasn't none. So if he's going to do that, that's what he's telling us. Ain't nobody getting no money, y'all. So we're going to have to, we got to suck it up buttercups. Just like y'all always say, suck it up buttercups. And look down at your feet right there. If you're wearing boots, there's straps on them right there. You're going to have to reach down there and grab them real hard and pick yourself up as hard as you can, okay? Now, if you can manage to do that, that also means you can fly, okay? So, well, that's a newfound ability, wouldn't it be? So, anyway, you ain't getting that. And I can understand why that you might think that would happen, that you'd get some of that, Doge checks and stuff like that, and the no tax on overtimes and all that. Look, it's all that tariff money. Yeah, we got so much tariff money just flying around here. We've all got to get some benefit from it, right? Trump tells us all the time, billions and billions and billions of dollars. Tariff money just coming in. Well, shoot, then they should be sending out tariff checks for all of us. He's lying about it. I don't know if you know this about him. He lies all the time. All the time. We're not getting billions of dollars in tariffs because people ain't spending money anymore. They're holding on to it because they're scared to death because he's destroying the economy. So that don't exist. So, no tariff checks either coming our way. But the thing is if you'll pay attention now to what they do to you, see, Republican speak is, we're going to lower taxes. And I know it gets y'all excited when they say that. What they're saying is we're going to lower taxes for us. They just don't finish the sentence is what they do to you. Now, not like Krasnoff, Donald F. and Trump. He just don't know how to finish a sentence is his problem. They do it on purpose. When they say we're lowering taxes, they mean for them, okay? And that's what they're doing right now. They're still got that bill in Congress. But, hey, about a dozen Republicans said they ain't voting on it. You know why? Because they're still planning on cutting Medicaid out of it, $880 billion. So there's at least 12 Republicans that don't think that's a good idea. So Anyway, that's what they do, is they just lie to you. They don't tell you the whole truth about nothing. Now, like Leon Musk there, see, whenever he come out and told you that we're going to have all these savings from the Social Security frauds. I mean, people been stealing from Social Security. 150-year-old people been receiving Social Security. 300-year-old people been receiving Social Security. Hey, that should have put a big red flag off in your empty brain bucket that, hey, something ain't right here. Because if somebody's receiving Social Security for longer than Social Security's been around, math don't add up. The math don't math there, does it? That would be mathematically impossible. That's what should have went off in your empty brain bucket. And you'd known that Leon Musk was lying to your dumbass, you know. See, what was going on there, and Leon knows it because he's not as dumb as he's pretending to be, is that some of that's a glitch in the computer code there. The old antiquated software they use to write the code for them old systems. What that should have told you was the government needs to spend more of our taxpayer dollars on upgrading their computer systems. That's what you should have thought. Not that 300-year-old people are cashing Social Security checks, or 150-year-old people. And a lot of that stuff is people that was collecting Social Security, and then they died, and then they wasn't collecting Social Security anymore. They just didn't update the system. See, those checks that went out to their mailbox and stuff, they couldn't cash them. They couldn't, y'all. They were dead. They couldn't cash those checks because they were deceased. So dead people can't cash checks and stuff. So that didn't happen either. See, it's just like you like to talk about dead people voting all the time. Them dead people out there voting for them Democrats. Look, dead people can't vote either. They can't. Dead people can't even pick up a pencil to even check a box or write a name. You know, they can't do it. I bet they can't. I've thought about it. Can't do it. Now, I don't want to try it, but I'm saying I'll bet you dead people can't pick up a pencil. That's what I'm telling you. So none of that's happening. Dead people aren't cashing Social Security checks, and dead people ain't voting and stuff. So you got to stop believing everything that you hear by Republicans, because they lie to you constantly. Okay? Well, you know they do, because Krasnov told everybody that doctors were performing abortions after birth. Remember? That's called murder. So we know that wasn't happening. And he told you that children were being forced to get sex change operations in their elementary schools. You know that's a lie too. So yeah, I'm just giving you some examples of how you've been lied to and played. All right. Hey, we ain't getting no DOGE checks. All right. We ain't getting no tax on tips or overtime or Social Security. None of that's happening. Okay. So get your dumb asses back inside. Get away from your mailbox. You ain't getting no socialisms. All right. And I know you want it bigly, but no socialisms are coming for us, all right? They're going to keep all that money, and they're going to give it to their billionaire buddies. All right? That's all that's going to happen. While he bankrupts the country and puts us all out of work. Inmate Trump.